Hey everyone, it's Christina with Kuther Crafts. Today we're going to be doing another grapevine and we are going to be attaching this cute sisal bunny. So this is going to be our centerpiece and then we're going to have our florals and it's going to be built into an entire set that we're actually going to install at the end of the month and show you guys how we get the total picture going. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with our ficus stems. These are in our shop. And we're going to start to trim them up. I'm going to go ahead and just cut all three off. I know I'm going to use them. And I know that the long one is going to go towards the bottom. So I'm giving it some shape. I'm giving it a little bit of zigzag and I'm going to make a little hook that I'm going to use to put in the wreath. And I'm going to shove it up in there. This one's already kind of got a hook. We're going to add that in. And this one's bent that same direction. We're going to use that for the top. You want to have a point if you're doing a half where it transitions. And then if you're doing that full circle, you'll want to keep everything going the same direction usually. All right, we have one more. The reason that we zigzag things, again, in nature, things are not in a straight line. It's not built that way. I'm actually gonna pull this one out and move it up. I'll re-glue that, but I'm gonna use this long one down here. I really like to use the long ones on the bottom to give those wreaths some volume and some length. Again, you want it to come off of your grapevine. You don't want it to stay flat on it. You can do that if you're doing grapevines that'll be on somebody's door that has like a screen door. They may want a flatter wreath. I do not have a screen door, so I want it to go off and build some volume. I'm going to bring another one up to the top, I think. Maybe not. I get a lot of questions about my glue pot. This is just a standard cooking pot from good old Walmart. Alright, I'm going to cut one more. And I think that will do the trick because I have a little gap right here that I want to fill in. And right. So now that I've got that on there, we're going to go ahead and get our bow rocking and rolling, and I'm gonna do just a simple 2-ribbon bow. Got one tail up and then I'm gonna twist. I do not measure my tails. I'd rather have more than enough than not enough. I would say that's probably an 8-inch loop. And I'm gonna do thinking 4 loops. So each time you got to twist that pretty side forward. we're going to cut it. And then I have this yellow that I'm going to use as an accent also. And this one here, I'm going to just do 3 loops. But my middle, that 3rd loop, is actually going to be just a little knot. So I'm just curling it around my thumb. And then I twist it underneath my thumb to give it just kind of like a little button. And then we're going to cut an additional tail. There we go. I set that to the side. I like to use pipe cleaners to hold my bows, but those are, it's 2 1/2 dozen out there. Everybody has their own preference. That little button helps hide that pipe cleaner. So we're going to go ahead and install that. And I'm feeding that pipe cleaner through that grapevine. I'm gonna twist tie it. I'm not gonna worry about fluffing these tails or even dovetailing them yet. Right now, all I want to do is get that bow on here. And then I want to add in my flowers. So I want to have 3 statement piece flowers. Y'all, I've changed my mind. I changed my mind again. Typical me. Those of you guys who follow us on Facebook Live will know that's a real thing. It happens all the time. So we're going to start with our wildflowers instead. And we have these in shop. It's a beautiful bush. We're just going to break it apart if it decides to cooperate with me. We're just going to start to add these in. I want to go for that wispy wildflower because when I was looking at that purple right next to this piece that we have that we're going to use as our center and focal piece, I don't want anything to take away from that. So we're going to go with smaller flowers throughout to give it a wildflower feel. We got glue strands everywhere. So I'm breaking that apart, and then what I'm doing is I'm twisting, because it's a bunch of different little flowers. I'm twisting them together, and then I'm going to put them in. And that helps keep them in order and from getting messy. The other thing that you could do that I did not bring out today is if you knew you were going to mess with a lot of the little stems, you could get your pick machine and you could pick them and make them each individuals. Loving this fern. This is real pretty. I'm going to do the fern individually to give it, spread it out and try to blend it in with this other ficus that I have in here. Got a few more here. We're gonna put this up top. And so I'm gonna put these ones coming down. And the glue strands are just everywhere today, y'all. And I'm starting to put those bow loops where I want them to go. And right, we're getting there. Now these are wired, so you can pull them in the directions that you want them to go to fill in where you want them to go. And I have some white tulips. I want to add a few in because tulips are just kind of a staple for spring for me. Come behind here. And add it in. Come on. This one actually has a short stem, which works out great because I can put it right up here and bend it where it looks like it's actually a part of that bow. And now we're going to get out our next stem and we're going to start to build it from the bottom. Now that stem, when I broke it apart, it's a little messy, so we're going to just kind of keep that all contained because you don't want green filler in your wreath. And after I add in this bush, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our wreath stand out, and we're going to get ready to add in our centerpiece. One of the things I like about this bush is that it's essentially done the pairing for you. You don't have to really think about, does this flower go with this? It's already done. You just gotta put it in. this is the stuff that I was telling you about. It's floral tape that they've used, but let me break that up a little bit more. And I may end up getting another bundle to put in here once I get all of this in here so I can see where we're at, where the holes are. To put some of this in there. All right, and I'm gonna put in a piece of this fern. That fern is beautiful. Liking it a lot. All right. And we're gonna put in some of this right here. I can definitely tell that I have a gap right here in the wildflower. So that would be a great place for me to add in some of those tulips. And then once I get those tulips on, that's when we're gonna go ahead and get our wreath stand out, and we'll put on our little character. Got one more of these pretty ferns. All right, let's get that wreath stand out, and we're gonna get this up on the rack and see where we're at. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and dovetail these while I am looking at them and thinking about it, because otherwise I may forget. And I've got this one down here. Now I have made this tail a little long, but I'm probably going to curl it a little bit, so I want to make sure I have enough to curl it. You can always come in and cut more off, but you don't want to cut too much off and then not have enough. All right, I do know I have a tail over there. So this is our piece. So I'm wanting to get its placement. And I actually have some of these stems left over, so I'm going to reach through the wreath stand, and I am shoving that stem up into that sisal bunny. And then I want to get some wire, and I'm actually going to wire him in through the back so that way you can't really see it. And then I want to add a little bit of glue on top of that. Just to try to seal it. This, again, it'll be in the back, so nobody will see this. And we're going to do one more around this little feller's feet. Now these two stems have had time to dry, but I can all but guarantee you I'm not going to need all of it. So I'm just going to cut them down. And so now I have prepared this to go into the wreath. So I've got the little stems, my wire, and you could choose to just dip it in your glue pot, but it's over there and I'd have to walk in front of y'all, so we're gonna do it this way. Now I'm gonna turn this a little bit so that I can see. And as I'm tying this on, I'm trying to tie it and focus on getting it around those thicker grapevine stems that I know are gonna hold. A lot of grapevines have those twiggy ends. You want to make sure that you're not using those as an anchor because they'll break. And all right, so now we have our little bunny in there, and you may want to fill this in a little bit down here with some moss. We are going to add a little bit of ficus and then a little bit of that wildflower down there and fill it right on in. Sorry. Sorry guys, I'm cutting in front of the camera. We're trying to make sure you guys can see. And it is proving to be a challenge. But we will adapt and overcome. Alright, so I'm just gonna add in a little of this. And a little bit of this one. I think that'll be too much. All right, and then our final step, we're just gonna grab a little bit of this wildflower. And now we're just going to give this a curl. And a curl. And that is going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching.